hit that button, go live, go live. In this realm where games survive, games attack with a rebel spark. We're lighting up the digital dark. Game on, game hard, streaming stars, we're never far. Game on, game hard, in this conquest we're avatars.
Oh yeah, welcome ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. I am Mr. Mike and you are listening to the GamezAttack podcast here at OldFreakyGamer.com. This is episode 118. Let's talk some games, or let's talk games. Question mark? Oh yeah. And I'm playing like the ending of this extra long theme song to my podcast here because I felt like it would be a good thing to do. It's pretty interesting, this how long this song goes for. And I wrote this myself, and I had this AI director take over this whole thing here, which was, I don't know, one of those weird things for me. Welcome, everybody, to the podcast that is. If you don't already know what this is a podcast. Now, it can be in many shapes, forms, and sizes. This is mainly an audio-based podcast, but if you're watching this on YouTube, this is also a video, if you want to watch me, of course. And all you're going to see is me sitting here in front of my desk in my studio office here, with my digital background and all that stuff. So I don't know how much you really want to do that, but you know, YouTube offers it, and I always record the video for the audio because I use OBS to do all that. So I just say, hey, just put up the video of me talking. And you never know, if you're watching the video portion of the show, you never know if I will ever do anything. Probably not, but you never know. Never know what might happen. So everybody, also, this is a podcast about video games. I am Gamer Boy Mr. Mike. If you did not already know that, I am not an influencer. I am not in the trade at all. I am just a gaming fan. I am, I like to call myself a gaming hobbyist, a very big gaming hobbyist. It is part of my life. It is mostly my life. Is gaming. I love to play games, all sorts of games. I love to know what the industry is doing and how people make the games, how games are formed. I hate to say it, but the politics behind games, even though I'm not really big into the politics behind games, but there are politics in games. Everything has politics in it. It doesn't matter what you do. There's always going to be some sort of stupid politics in it. But I am interested in all that stuff. It's just like movies, the cinema, the breadth of the art that goes on the screen, either it's in the theater or at home. The same goes for video games, which is the digital cinema of interaction, story, and basically anything and everything that creativity comes from somebody's mind. And it goes into this ones and zeros that make up a bunch of triangles and polygraphs and numbers, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger in size, and it turns into something almost sometimes photorealistic, almost in ways, depending on the game, of course. You know, it could be a 2D side-scrolling game. It could be something that's so realistic that you're blinking and you're like the uncanny valley of stuff going on in certain games. And it's just remarkable of where we're at on how big games could get, and how big and graphically intense they are, and the stories that we get from them. And then there's games that maybe didn't need a lot of that, or didn't need that polish, or didn't need to be photorealistic, and they could have just had a nice story and simplistic graphics, and people would have enjoyed it. Now, today's day and market, people are very finicky and very greedy, I should say. I hate to Do I hate to say that? I don't know. There's a lot of greed. There's a lot of unsatisfaction for things. Like people don't care of what they are consuming nowadays between gaming art and film and stuff like that. They just gobble it all up because it's just all coming at them all at once. Um and I don't think a lot of people appreciate just the magistry, the craziness of how this stuff becomes what you see on a screen and what you can hold in your hand and play in a virtual world, creating whatever stories you might want to tell in that world, depending on where you go. And a lot of people take that for granted. Um, I try not to. I'm not as fickle and as what would that term be? I'm trying to think of a good term. I know fickle is good, but I'm not as demanding of what I want out of my games. I know a lot of people are like, I know I want great graphics. I want the frames per second. I want the best this, the best that. Oh, I wish this game had more of this and that and stuff like that and less shotguns, less this. And I'm like, but that's not how the creators and the visionaries envisioned the game. They envisioned it one way, and you want a game totally a different other way. And, I can go in and point a lot of fingers at certain people out there that, say a bunch of stuff. I'm sure you listen and watch to of other podcasts and gaming podcasts and stuff like that out there. And there are certain individuals out there that, like I always say, set in their ways. And they like to preach what they like to preach. And whatever you put in front of them, they're never really excited. It never seems to me that when I hear these individuals talk about the games that they're playing or what they're doing have ever, at least not most of the time, ever been super excited. And then there's games that I figure that I look at and I'm like looking at and I'm watching people play and I'm like, I don't ever want to play that game. It's visually awesome. It's interesting what they created, but then I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's something I never want to play. And it's not my style. And then the certain somebody goes, this is the best. I dare to say it. This might be the best game of 2026. And I'm like, but it's a game that most people don't want to play or interact with or anything. And you're saying this might be the best game you ever played in 2026 when we had all these other great games and stuff out there and you didn't give a shit about any of them. And you like this one game that nobody else likes. And it's not the first time this individual, and I'm not trying to call them out, but I listen to a variety of gaming podcasts out there. And there's been a lot of gaming podcasts that I've been listening to for a very long time. Way before I've been doing most of this stuff. And before it was like, okay, it was great, it's funny, and they seemed passionate. And now it seems like a lot of times I listen and watch some of these people do their craft today, years and years later, and they're older, they got families, but then it doesn't feel like they got that spark anymore. Like they don't have that urge to want to play anything really anymore. Or if they do, it seems like everything they play is they don't enjoy, or it's just not satisfying enough. And it's just like, and they have all the downer points of everything about it, and they never hardly talk about it. And then they go to these obscure games that really nobody really likes or cares about. And, I try to look at every game in a way of, okay, that could be interesting, but there's sometimes I'm not. But then they're just like, these are the best games. Why are people playing these best games? And we can all say that once in a while. So I'm not saying that, oh, Mr. Mike, Mr. Gamer Boy, Mr. Mike, you're just saying that, but you say that stuff all the time. Why don't people play this game all the time? Yeah, but it seems like it's on a weekly basis that they say this kind of stuff. And a lot of times they talk and it's just like, wow, it sounds like this person's really upset and really angry at sometimes, or really just disappointed in everything that's coming out in the industry. It doesn't matter if it's a triple A or a double A or a single A, or big game, small game, indie game. And it seems like they're never satisfied anymore. And me as a person that grew up as a poor person, very poor, came from a very poor family. My whole family, they never really, some of my family got a house, but houses and stuff, one house or something like that. But, me and my mom, we lived in apartments for most of my life, and she was super poor. I was poor. Like I said, most of my family's poor. Never really did much, never went anywhere. My family would always talk to me about, oh, my little Mike, my little Mr. Mike, we gotta go save up and take you to Disneyland or something one day or whatever, go on a plane. And that stuff never happened. They always, every year it'd be like, they would always promise it, always saying it. But I knew, I'm like, how? We can't, we barely affording what we can do now. I never had the latest greatest video game systems back in the day. I had a lot of hand-me-downs. The only first real video game, when I got my first video game system, was the NES back I think I was like 5 or 6, so I forget when it was. 1980, I was born in 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92-ish, around there, probably 91. I think the NES was still like available and still selling at 91, right? Correct? So I had to be like 5, right? Or else I was 4, which would be really weird because I don't remember that. But I do remember I was really young. My mom bought me a NES system, and it was Super Mario Brothers 3 with packed in with that. And we played that shit nonstop, me and my mom. And that was like the best thing ever. It was the greatest game. And I bought other games. I was able to get other games because used games were really cheap. They were like $4 at a used game store called Zappers back in the day. And I got some of that. This is when the Super NES was coming out already. And then, and stuff like that, and Sega Genesis. And I never owned, before then, I never owned any newer consoles after that. It was the NES system, and that was the last and only console that I had for a very long time, until probably high schoolish, give or take. That's when I got my second non-hand-me-down console, and that was the PS2. And that thing was the best. I was overjoyed when my mom begrudgingly purchased me a PS2 video game console. And she was like, I think what was it, folks? Was it like $299.99 or something at the time? It was like $300, right? I think. I'm not misunderstanding. I should look up my information before I speak. Let's see here. What did the PS2 retail, if I can spell retail, for at launch? It was $299. I was right. $299.99. I was right. I was correct. Woohoo! Mr. Mike gets a little point. Boy, that was a little loud in my ears. Yeah, I actually got that right. So $299, $300, and my mom was going berserk. I mean, she was going berserk. She was like, "Oh my God, Mike, little Mike, this is $300. Holy crap, that's a lot of money." Well, back in the day, like I said, came from a very poor family, folks. So $300 was a lot of money. a lot of money. It was like $1 million for us back in that day. But I really, really wanted it. Not that I was ever a good student or anything or whatever. It was just something I wanted for my birthday. And I'm like, can I get this for like my birthday, a Christmas, some other stuff? Mainly I wanted it because there was a little game called Grand Theft Auto 3 that I loved playing nonstop at a friend's house, and I'm like, I got to get me this game. Originally, I did get Grand Theft Auto 3 for PC. Mind you, I didn't really own a PC. I owned somewhat sorts of a PC, a bare budget PC, and that could not run Grand Theft Auto 3. Not for shit. And I'm like, I want to play Grand Theft Auto 3, but I can't run it on this shitty computer. And and back in the day, I didn't know much about computers. I know very little about computers. My family definitely didn't know anything about computers except to type on them and maybe go on AOL online and stuff like that, and a little bit of stuff here and there. But none of us knew about, oh, you need like some sort of a graphics card in this computer, not just the graphics on the chip, which was nothing back in that time. You needed some RAM, you needed some other stuff, you needed a faster processor. A Celeron was not going to fucking cut it for Grand Theft Auto 3 back in the day. That was chugging. I got it to work and run, but it was like really chugging at the time. And oh boy, that was and I'm like, I really want to play Grand Theft Auto 3. And I really was playing it when it was chugging on that. I think that E-Machines was the first real computer, and that was not good at all. But when I got that PS2, and then I got a copy of Grand Theft Auto 3, I was livid. I was playing that nonstop. And then all the other games came down the line, and I was able to purchase those myself by doing some side work and stuff like that as a youngster back in the day. You know, you could get under the table work easier back in the day for us younger kids out there. You know, government never caught on to any of that shit. You know, a lot of labor that maybe I shouldn't have been around doing because it was dangerous, but I don't care. I was making money trying to buy my video games. You know, I had to do something. My family wasn't going to be able to buy me any video games back in that day. And, you know, besides the PS2 back in the day, before I started being able to buy my very first console and my stuff, it was a bunch of hand-me-downs. I got a hand-me-down Super Nintendo, a hand-me-down Sega Genesis. I wish I would have got that hand-me-down Sega Saturn. That's what I really wanted. And still to this day, I wish I had a Sega Saturn system with a bunch of games like Three Dirty Doors and Robotech. Roboteka, I think it was called. And then there was Virtual Cop, and Sonic 3D Blast was really good on that and stuff like that. It played differently than the other 3D Sonic Blast that you play, that I can play now. Like, I think I have the PS2, PS1, what is it called? The PS1 Mini or whatever it is. I think it had Sonic Blast or 3D Blast on that, and it plays a lot differently than what I remember the original. But besides that, folks, I loved my PS2. It was the best system. And like I said, besides that, the time frame before when I was little and I got the NES system to when I finally got a new console, a brand new console for my very own, a PS2 that wasn't a hand-me-down PS1, which I bought myself. I used all my Christmas and birthday monies and stuff to buy myself a used PS1, which I enjoyed. Ton of PS1 games that I got very cheap, and I was good, but I really wanted the PS2. But of course, family poor, couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford it. So I had that too. And then the 360 came around. It was between 360 and PS3. I told this story many, many times before. I had a job. I was making some money. I'm still, of course, living at home with mommy, but I'm still making money. I'm helping out, but you know, I have good money to cash flow to be able to buy. And I bought my very first console myself, even though I'm still poorish. I bought my very first console for myself, and that was the Xbox 360 because the PS3 was what at the time $5.99, $6.99, depending on which console you wanted. But that wasn't that wasn't the issue for me, even though that was super overpriced back at that time with the PS3 cell chip and all that, and it was $5.99, $6.99. The thing that really drove me to the Xbox 360 was that the PS3 at the time was not getting SmackDown versus Raw, which back in the day when I was a super wrestling fan still, and SmackDown versus Raw was still a great video game before it went to the WWE bullcrap that is today, probably, especially today when you can't even get into a demo without having to sign your life away. So fuck that. I decided, hey, I am just, I'm going to go buy this 360. I heard about this game Halo that was on the original Xbox, which I did not care about the original Xbox at all. I thought that was a piece of shit. But when I looked at the 360, I'm like, okay, Microsoft's doing something here with this Xbox thing. This is the second generation. This is called the 360. It's pretty popular. It's pretty slick and slim. I'll give it a try. I like the controller look and everything, even though I'm used to the PlayStation controllers at the time. I was like, oh, this 360 controller looks interesting. And, oh, okay, and it's wireless and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, okay, blades, all that stuff. The blades, everybody will talk about the blades all the time. I wonder if they'll ever bring that back. A lot of people hope they'll bring back the blades, maybe for the next system. Maybe there'll be a blades thing going on for that system just to make it like old school, but new school where you blade from your console part to the PC part or something. That'd be pretty cool. Take that as a note, Microsoft, Xbox, Asha Sharma. Put blades into the Helix interface because people will go gaga crazy just because there's the blades are back. They'll be like, the blades are back, baby. But anyways, yes, played Halo, fell in love with Halo, thought Halo was a great game, beat that game. Then Gears of War came out, and I'm like, boo, oh God, Gears of War. And that was besides SmackDown versus Raw. And then all these other great games that came out, like Elder Scrolls, Oblivion. Then there was this game called Fallout 3 that I was like, whoa, what's this? And I'm like, oh, this RPG is so awesome. And so much and so much and so much. And then there were some bad games too. But then there was so many good games. And I still have most of my catalog of those 360 games till this day sitting on my shelf. And, I bought faceplates. Remember the faceplates used to be so popular, those faceplates. You could get one for like all these games, movies, whatever. I got the Gears of War one. I got this collectible. Well, it's a collectible Gears of War one that's still in the package, but I also have the collectible Final Fantasy 13 Lightning, which I think it was a GameStop exclusive faceplate for the 360, and I'm like, oh. And at that time, I was really bad at Final Fantasy, but I wanted to try it out because I'm like, okay, it's in 3D, it's all this stuff, people are talking about it, and I'm like, oh, this sexy anime chick's on here, I want to try this out, and I was really bad at it. And then years and years later, as you've seen in my videos, I finally played it and beat it, so it's like, oh, shit, look at that. But anyways, I wasn't always with the latest and greatest. I wasn't always able to play a game, but until I got, my real job, PS2, I had tons of games. I got Star Wars games, a whole bunch of games. There was the Mercenaries games that I really loved, which I wish that would come back. Mercenaries was kick-ass, people. God damn, I hate when those franchises go. And then, like I said, got 360, and then after that, the Wii. Got the Wii. I bought that. From there on, I bought all my own consoles, let's just say. So I bought the Wii, and then it was the Xbox One because I hated the Wii U. I didn't think that was a good system. Bought a lot of handhelds, a lot of Nintendo handhelds, of course, because that was the only thing out there, basically. But the PS3 was my last one. I bought the PS3 eventually. Of course, that had some great games for like the God of War games and bunch of other stuff. What do you call it? Medium Molecule one. I'm trying to think. Little Big Planet, Little Big Karting, whole bunch of games on the PS3 that I really liked. Infamous, stuff like that. And then, like I said, going forward, didn't buy a PS4. I did, but I didn't like it, and because I went to my friend's house and played his, and I'm like, no, this is garbage. So I returned to my PS4, got the Xbox One, enjoyed it. Everybody hated theirs. I loved that. I loved the Kinect. I loved the Cortana where I could say Xbox on, Xbox off. I thought that was great. I used to use the Kinect to do my exercises. I used to exercise with the Kinect when they had the Kinect with the exercise thing. I thought it was okay. I thought it was cool. Sure, there was no games, there was no use for it, but the Xbox on, Xbox off, that being able to hook up my satellite TV, my direct TV to it, and watch in the corner and watch the video, whatever's on TV in the corner, like G4 or Tech TV back in the day, and then play a video game that, even though it wasn't perfect, it was like the best thing. I'm like, oh, picture in picture. I'm playing a game here, watching TV there. Oh my God, I'm in the tech zone here. And, rolling on all the way to now with the series consoles and Switches and Xbox ROG X's, and now we got expensive shit and everything's gone to shit and stuff. From back in that time when I was super poor to now, I think, wow, times have changed. Now that I do have some money, now, mind you, I'm not rich. I'm not rich or anything, but I do got money. I can buy stuff. I can buy what not mostly what I always want, but a lot of stuff that I want, I can buy. I can buy consoles. I can buy games. That doesn't matter. Even though I do try to get sales and discounts and all that stuff, but still, I can buy this stuff. I can afford it. I can enjoy it now. Even though the world's gone to shit, video game industry's gone to shit, hardware's gone to shit with prices and how to get it and all that stuff. And it's like, God damn it. Can we ever get a break? Can I ever get a break? But beyond that, I always enjoyed this hobby. This is, like I always say, is my lifelong hobby. Gaming will be in my blood for the rest of my life. Right next to films and movies and TV shows will always be in there, because those are the two forms of entertainment that I enjoy the most. Sure, there's sporting events and all this other stuff. I'm not big into sports. I'm not a big sports guy. I'll go out. If someone invites me to go to a football game, basketball game, whatever, even though we don't have no basketball here in Buffalo, New York, but if we ever got a basketball team, I would probably go, because I'm really more interested in basketball. But if there's any other sporting event, baseball, whatever, I'm not watching it on TV. I don't necessarily know anybody, but I'll go to it. But I'm not interested in it. People are watching football games on TV and this and that, and they're talking about stuff at work, and I'm like, whatever. I'm gaming. I'm watching movies, TV series. I'm in that world. I'm in let's see what people create. I want to see the art that people like me create for people like us to enjoy. And gaming is that art form. That's what I consider. I consider it my art. It's not a Pablo Picasso or I'm trying to think of the other. I know Pablo Picasso. It ain't oh shit. I used to know all my painters. I only know Pablo Picasso now. Go figure, folks. See, I lost all my knowledge of all the painters and artsmen and stuff like that. I just know Picasso. And boy, they used to hammer that into us at arts class in school. You got Picasso, you got this guy, you got that guy, and I'm like, okay. But anyways, I'm not really picky about my games. I enjoy games from a variety of sources, a variety of things. As long as it plays good, keeps me interested, it doesn't matter if the ending usually sucks or the beginning or the weirdness of certain things in it. If it's playable, if it's enjoyable up to a moment, and you know, I can play through it up to a point where I'm satisfied, I'm usually good with the game. Unless if the game is really doggone broken and shitty and stuff, then I will pass it by, but I'll give them a chance to fix the game over time, and then maybe I'll go back to it over time and try it again. There's a couple games. Like there's a game like High on Life 2. I want to get back into that game someday. I hope they patched all the bugs and stuff. I haven't heard anything more about it, but maybe I want to get back into that if it ain't broken still on PC or something like that. But otherwise, I am not really super picky unless if it's something I just do not have an interest in. And there's a lot of things out there that I don't have an interest in. There's a lot of things I do, but I don't make it like it's a bad thing. And it sounds like when I hear some of these podcasters nowadays, these internet other internet celebrity type thingies. What am I going to call them? Can't call them really journalists anymore. Are they internet journalists, videographers, whatever? It's always negativity about everything. This, that, oh, this company's on this BDS list and that, and I'm like, I don't want to keep hearing about your left-wingy bullshit, whatever. Talk about the games, talk about the industry, try to talk about good things. And it's just like, every time I'm listening to these podcasts, it's just like, oh, and it's been draining out my energy. It's like, I gotta listen to them. I know people are gonna tell me, well, Mr. Mike, you could just stop listening to these fuckers and watching their content. But here's the thing, folks, I could, but I can't. Because I got to know what other people are talking about. I got to understand what other people think about games, the industry, et cetera, et cetera. And sometimes I'll find out news that I can't find myself on the internet, or some stories that might interest me that I can't find on the internet, but then I hear it from them, and then I'll go back to the internet and look it up and study it a little bit or whatever. So I got to still listen to these people to get like somewhat news. It's not like it's going to be news that is objective anymore, because I don't believe that many people are objective anymore. But I got to take it from one note to another. And then there's other podcasts that I'm starting to listen to, listening to their news and gaming and all that. And they talk some good shit, but then it's like, well, they're from another country, so they're not really speaking English quite well, and they'll speak in their linguos, which I'm sure they'll say the same for me. And then I don't understand what they're saying, and it's like, oh, I'm trying to understand. I got some of that, but then it's like, eh. And then there's other podcasts that I don't even know why they do podcasts anymore, because they barely do them. Like, you barely get a podcast once or twice a month anymore, and they don't even talk about games, even though they're called, like, they're considering themselves a gaming podcast. I'm like, where's your talk about the games? You're talking about your home life, and you're bragging about your home life, and you're bragging about this other stuff and movies and shit you're talking about. You might as well just redo the podcast and call it your home life and movies and boring crap that nobody gives a care about podcast. I don't know. And then it's like you go through the whole podcast and you're thinking that they're going to talk about something video game wise or whatever. And then you get a bunch of complaints and whininess. And then they talk about a bunch of other stuff like ping pong and stuff. And then it's nothing. It's like, people enjoy listening to that? I don't. I thought you were a gaming podcast. You used to be a gaming podcast, and now you're not. Oh, and yes, that's a complaint, but I don't know. I try to have a more broad thought process on everything. I'm not going to strike everything down right away. You can call me a flip-flopper if you want, because, you know, I could be really pissed at Microsoft and Xbox and Asha Sharma one day. And then, you know, down the road, they could do some good, decent stuff. Like, you know, it seems like Asha Sharma is kind of running Xbox good, decent, even though we haven't gotten to the next ton of layoffs yet. And that's going to still hurt a lot of morale in the company and shit like that. But, you know, she's going to do it. They're going to do it. They're going to fire more and more people, or they're going to just keep laying people off throughout development of all these games and stuff, which is pretty much the way they're going to go back to like the industry used to be, where after a game is done, they're going to just let people go, which still, why can't they, when they're finishing up a game or ending a game? Okay. Sorry about that. I had to pause for a second. Yeah. I don't understand why when they're finishing up a game, that they're not already having like a part of their team or a small little part of their team working on a next project, so they can just ramp it up, so they can keep using those people and nobody's just sitting around, you know, daydreaming or whatever. You know, you would think they would be like, well, we're not going to let all these people go, because you're going to keep cycling to make new stuff from that game to the new game. And then we'll keep some people back so they can keep polishing up the last game and, you know, fixing bugs, whatever. And then eventually they'll come on to the new game and, you know, they can just keep going back and forth. But I guess that's not how the industry works, you know, even though they want to keep pumping out these games and make AAA games all the time. But there's a lot of good things that I hear coming from Xbox and the industry over there for now. They're doing a lot of good talking. Asha and her teams that she's getting out there, that they're getting out there at Microsoft, they're talking some good shit. They're saying a lot of good stuff, when other companies like Sony are doing the opposite now, that are going the dark way and saying the things that people don't want to hear. And yet they think they're big enough to weather that storm, which we will find out in the next generation, if that ever shows up, and if it shows up at a point where people can actually say, okay, we'll accept this generation. But that's going to be kind of hard when everything is super fucked in the hardware and pricing point of things. But if it does eventually materialize in 2028 or hopefully beyond, I'm hoping just, you know, a little bit more beyond, but, you know, if that stuff materializes and they got something good to bring out, I'm really interested in what's going to happen. Will the tables change? Will the tides change? Will things flip again? I know it's been like down and out for Xbox for a very long time now, but if they're going to continue on with this backwards compatibility trip and messaging and stuff, even if it's not all going to be backwards compatible, but maybe they'll be able to bring some titles from all these publishers that are just put out there to resell again, and they're going to make money again off these older titles and stuff again, so people can have a digital license to keep going and playing these games for as long as they can play on these servers and stuff. I'm all for that. Sure, it would suck if I can't just pop in one of my 360 discs into like this into the Helix or something and just be able to play anything I want, because I know they're not going to have their whatever Xbox emotion like chip in there. You know, they're not going to have that Xbox 360 chip to be able to play that stuff. But if they're able to bring back a lot of the games that I would love them to bring back, or a lot of people to bring into that ecosystem to be played beyond licensing and stuff like that, I would so much go back to those games and play those games, and I would buy them again. I would pay some money to buy those games again, as long as they're not ridiculously expensive and whatnot. But that's just me. I know a lot of people are like, no, if I can't play my back catalog, it's nothing, you know, because people are fickle like that. And you know what? That's just the way it goes. Whoever would think or have thought that backwards compatibility would have went this far through the Xbox generations, you know? No other console does that. No other group does that. Sony don't give a shit about backwards compatibility, and Nintendo damn sure doesn't give a shit about that unless if they throw it on their eShop once in a great while, their Nintendo subscription service. But otherwise, they don't really give a care about the backwards anything. They'll sell you new copies of that original stuff, but they don't care about, going back to the past and pulling out like Mario Brothers 3 and 4 and stuff or whatever, 1, 2, and 3, and putting it on a digicard or something for you to buy or to play again. Or, they don't care about that stuff. They know that they just want to make bank, and that is how most of these corporations go forward. They're not going to care about legacy. Sony definitely doesn't care about legacy. They proved that time and time again. They used to back on the PS3. You remember that had backwards compatibility through, at least the original PS3 had backwards compatibility for 2 and 1 games. And I always kick myself in the ass saying I should have never sold my original PS3, but at the time I did because I wanted the slimmer PS3, and I figured whatever. I knew the caps were going to pop in that other PS3 or whatever eventually, who knows. But yeah, and then they ended the backwards compatibility thing for the PS3 because they went smaller and they got rid of all the chips that were able to play PS2 and 1 games. And it's like, why? Could have just kept that, and you could have just kept going with that. And Microsoft, they never tried to do that. I'm surprised they didn't just have a chip where they could have put in an Xbox One or or beyond that in the series consoles, so people could just play their 360 games without having to get them relicensed or anything. I don't understand what kind of concept was behind that when Sony could do it up to a point, but Microsoft can, or did the rules of engagement change on that stuff? I don't know. It's a weird thing, but overall, I try to enjoy my games. I try to enjoy a lot of games, and I'm not always successful at playing games. Like this week has been another kind of bust for me. I'm recording this podcast way early. I'm recording this on a Thursday because I got some stuff going on this weekend, but yeah, when I do get to play some games and get into games, I really do get into games. I enjoy them. I have some fun. And it opens me up to worlds that, you can't normally go in. Get to live another life in a digital world. And it's awesome because I don't go anywhere. I don't go on trips. I don't go to bars or stuff like that, and we don't got arcades here in my area. And once in a super great while I will go to the movies or something, but I don't go out, hang out with people. I'm a homebody. I love my house. I love being at my house. I love doing stuff in my house and outside my house. And a lot of those things is media based. I love to watch movies and shows and stuff. And I like to play video games. That's what I like to do. And work on my house, of course. But that's what I like to do. I don't go out, hang out with people all the time, as you can tell. I'm the person with no life that has a life. I have a life, but no life. And, I save money up. I buy entertainment with my money. When other people are drinking and smoking and whatever, I'm enjoying my life my way. And everybody's got to enjoy their life their own way. And we shouldn't be too fickle on what people like and don't like, as long as they're not being assholes about it. And there's a lot of crazy people that are just assholes. You got, like I said, you got your forms of Gamergate still going on out there. You still got your prejudice-ness out there. You still got all this stuff. And it's like, just play the game. Enjoy the game. People going up in arms about, oh, why is the GTA trailer on Netflix? Don't worry about it, motherfuckers. It's going to be on, YouTube a couple hours later, whatever. Fuck it. What's the problem? I don't get what the problem is, but people whine, and I know it's these small little groups, but people whine and they just don't understand, and I don't understand why people whine for nonsense, but people do, and it's a really a shame nowadays on that, and like I said, some of these game journalists now podcasters, it's just like I used to listen to them religiously, and now I'm just like I'm just I'm fast forwarding through half their content because most of it's just garbage, or I don't want to listen to certain people because they're talking so much nonsense that it drives me up the wall. It's like, come on, guys, at least pretend that you like what these games are doing, and it's just it's really hard to listen to some things like that. Just like it's sometimes hard to listen to my podcast when you hear me ramble on about other people's podcasts. But enough me talking about that. Let's talk about some games. More games. You already heard about my boring life. You heard about that stuff. And I hope you could have fast forwarded through all that if you want to. But if you liked hearing me talk about that bullshit, there we go. I'm contradicting my own bullshit right there. Played the Gears of War E-Day multiplayer beta last weekend. You see that there is a Let's Play up of that. I put that up on Sunday. I got to say, very interested and impressed of what I played. And I think the Horde mode extraction, was it Horde extraction? I forgot what they call it. Horde extraction or whatever. I'm just going to call it Horde extraction mode. But Horde extraction mode is going to be my game. That's going to be my shit, folks. Now, note, I played one round of, I think it was one round. I don't even know. Maybe it was just a little bit. I played like part of a round one time of Gears of War multiplayer versus mode. Was not saying I was bad at it. The shotguns are still the problem of Gears of War multiplayer. And what I would think that they should do, or hope that they would do for this new Gears of War Online multiplayer stuff, maybe if any of them are listening to me, anybody in the gaming business listening to me about this stuff, but if they want to put this Gears of War multiplayer out, and they want people to play the versus modes and stuff like that, they got to put modes in there where you can have still the shotguns and stuff. I'm not saying always get rid of the shotguns. There could be modes where you can't play with shotguns, but put a mode where you can play with shotguns and stuff, but then they have a cooldown period. Like when you run out of bullets and stuff, or you use it for a certain period of time, then you can't use it anymore. You got to go use other guns some more, and then that shotgun will have a cooldown period for a base time or something before you could go to the next one. And that sometimes I would think that would make it a lot better, especially if the person uses up their shotgun juice most of the time, and then you can go and you can shoot and try to fight each other like real fight, and it's not just this guy running around with a shotgun blowing people away. Like I said, the player versus player multiplayer versus mode, it got a lot quicker. It's still quick. I missed the slow-ish multiplayer on the Gears of War versus modes when they used to be more clunky and all that, and not as fast-paced and agile. It kind of sucks for people like me with slower fingers and stuff like that. But I still gotta just try and learn. I'm still gonna probably play it. I've been shooting and like tagging those shotgun people and certain people, mostly the shotgun people. Like I'm shooting them in the head. I got my Lancer out. I'm just like revving it up. I'm shooting them and shooting chunks into their head. And they still manage to get to me and shotgun me to death, like with 1 or 2 hits. And it's like, wait, I've been putting clips into you, into your head, and you can't even die once from my my lancer gun. And I'll try to lance people and I always miss because the lancing thing is not, it could be a little bit better where it could like you can be close enough to the person and you should just automatically be able to lance them instead of being like, oh, hold on, I gotta turn a half degree over here just to get into that correct box so I can lance this guy. I think they gotta improve the lancing just a little bit. They gotta make it so that it's seamless, especially in multiplayer mode. That is my critiques on that. Otherwise, the Gears Horde extraction part is kick-ass. I played with a bunch of group of randos in that game, never talked to a single person. We are all fighting for the same thing. We're all battling the locusts and the baddies and stuff and shooting them and killing them and doing all that stuff. I did pretty good. I got downed a couple times, but then I got resurrected by my teammates, which, thank you. And I helped them, I think, as well. At least I did once. And we worked together as a big group of people that didn't know or see each other. And we all came together and took down these big beasts and monsters and stuff. And that was pretty cool. And then we got to go and get on the helicopter. And I got to use the chain gun on the helicopter to kill and roast some more locusts and stuff, and we got extracted. It was pretty damn good. And we went 10 rounds, I think it was 10 round levels in that. And even though, like I said, it was on like a normal easy mode, we beat it. And I was really happy and excited. And when we came to the getting your points in your whatever mode, and all my points just kept going, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm leveling up, leveling up, and having fun getting all these XP points for nothing. And it was a very interesting experience. Now, a bunch of people were building traps and stuff on that board. I don't know why I was not able to. I played as the Marcus Phoenix character, of course, in that online horde mode, extraction shooter horde mode. And I tried many, many times trying to figure out how to like build traps or spikes or something. And I failed miserably multiple times on that. Many multiple times on that. The only thing I was able to build was the big, I forget what it's called. It's like the grenade kind of launcher gun, where you get like, I think 9 or 12 big rocket thingies, and you can have it mounted. It starts off mounted, but you could take it off the mount. You could go around when there's the big locust creatures coming. I'll fire at them with a few of those things, and then they go boom, right down. They're down and out. And that was very satisfying for me. That was very fun and satisfying going around the map. Now, trying to find ammo was a little tricky. You got to know where the ammo cache pile is. It took me till the end of each match to figure out where these ammo patches were located, but eventually I figured it out. But all in all, that's going to be my mode. And when we get into, we were in the city, I think at the time, it was like the city mode, whatever demo they gave us. It was very cool. It was really cringy, beautiful. I was playing on PC, as you can see. If you watch the video version, you can see those are my actual stats and benchmark summary, because of course, Gears of War always comes with your free benchmark thing, and it gave me really good. I was on ultra or epic or whatever for graphics or whatever, and everything ran very smooth. Everything ran really good. It all looked really amazing and stuff. And it was a very, very fun, very clean, experience in this demo, in this multiplayer demo. And I know this was like only the one map, but boy, oh boy, I will be willing to go back into that map again, or whatever other maps they bring in with the Gears extraction, horde extraction mode, because that was fun. That was some fun shit. I think they got something with that. I cannot wait to play the single player campaign when it comes out in October. That's going to be my shit, especially on PC and probably, hopefully, handheld as well. But that's going to be my shit. I think it's really gritty and dark like it should be. The Lancer, even though this is like what they call it, the original Lancer and stuff, Chainsaw Lancer, still felt great. Even though, like I said, sometimes you try to get behind an enemy with this Lancer, and it doesn't seem that it wants to connect properly when you want to lance one of them. And sometimes you just got to shimmy and shift to one area to another just to kill them sometimes, and it doesn't always work. That's maybe something they got to work on. Maybe get a little more stickiness with that kind of stuff. Give us a little boost up with that. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. What was I gonna also talk about here on that? Oh boy, I'm just thinking. They're gonna have another beta, I guess, this weekend. I think it's already happening now. The next open beta starts. I might try to do one more round with Gears Horde Gears mode or something like that, or a PvP mode or something like that. I really want to try to get back in there and maybe try to do it one more time before the next beta ends. We'll see how the weekend goes. I do got a lot of other things that I'm going to be doing during this weekend, but I'm going to try to make it so I can do that, make some effort to try to do that. Excuse me. I got like an eyelash or something. I mean, that's what's been bothering me a little bit, my eyelash or whatever. But I'm really interested to see what maybe I can play or do. If I can get into like a horde again and then play like on some PvP and see if I could do a little bit better. Maybe I'll even do the shotgun once in a while because, Okay, so the things that I think they did really good with this game, the jumping. Hitting Y to jump is amazing. I think they did an excellent job with that. I think I know some people out there were like a little still confused by the jumping and that, and they're like, "Oh, well, how are they going to explain that they can't jump in the new other games?" Well, they can do whatever they fucking want. It's a video game. Who gives a fuck? That's what I say. Who gives a flying fuck? It is a video game. It is a fucking video game.
Game over.
Yeah, that's what he says. It's a fucking video game, people. Get over it. I like the jumping. I like the jumping a lot. The switching of the gun from right to left when you want to go around corners, I have not gotten. I understand it. I understand how to do it. I just don't do it. I'm more of a run and gun, jump over here kind of thing, bounce over there. I'm not the kind of guy that switches the gun. I'm the kind of guy that likes to just move my body a little bit more to turn. And I know that's not the best way tactically to do that stuff, but that's just how I play. And it's going to take a little bit of time before I even think about moving from one side of my gun to the other side to shoot people. And it's something that it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to. Unlike the jumping, where I'm jumping onto a car. I'm jumping over this car. I'm jumping over this. I can climb this hill or jump this hill. And I'm like, wow, this is a much needed, awesome concept to be able to jump and get over things with your gears instead of just trying to climb over them or go at a weird opening or something like that. This is a good way to do it. And I think it brings a lot of tacticness to the game and helps you, like if an enemy comes to try to slash you and you can just jump onto a car or whatever, or jump over this or that. I think that's going to be really interesting for the gameplay, especially for the campaign going forward when that comes out on how things are going to work in that world. Adding jump is a thing that they should have done a long time ago. After Gears of War E-Day comes out, I hate to say it, is it going to sell good? I hope so. I really do. I know it's not going to be on PlayStation anymore, but I hope it really sells good on Xbox and PC, and a lot of Game Pass people play it. I'm trying to think here. I'm really trying to get into the part of, will this game, after this game, is it going to sell well? Maybe. It's probably not going to be the biggest seller because this is the Gears of War Collector's Edition still available on the Xbox Game Shop Zone place when all the other Collector's Editions for like Fable and Halo were gone a long time ago. So that kind of worries me a bit, unless the people just didn't want the Gears statue for some reason. I don't know. Marcus and Dom, really? That's what I got, by the way, folks. The collector's edition, the real collector's edition, the physical one. It kind of worries me that maybe not enough people are going to want to play this. I hope they do. I know it's coming out in October, which is not too far away from a certain GTA in November. I hope it does really well. I hope it does. And I hope they go back to the future of Gears, go all the way, finish up Kate and, Marcus Phoenix is in there too, but JD, is he? I forgot if he died in that or not. I don't know. If he's still around, good. If he's not, okay. I forgot if JD Phoenix died or not in that. It looked like it the one part, and then he came back, and then who knows if he actually died. But anywho, they got to finish up Kate's story and all that. That's the one thing that bothers me about franchises, big franchises like this, where they never truly finish up the franchise, where they never truly finish the story of characters and they just drag it on and on and on. And they seem to never, just like Halo with Cortana and stuff in Halo Infinite, spoiler alert, she just gets deleted, sort of, or she becomes a deleted code that the new AI lady takes on because they like made her in Cortana's image. So basically they made her the new Cortana, maybe gave her some of her data from her aka mom or whatever you want to consider the AI Cortana and stuff on. And I'm like thinking, okay, so is she gonna be Cortana? Because at the end she's like joking, like Chief is like, well, what name are you going to be? What are we going to call you? And she's like, I got a name already picked out. And then before she says it, of course, you go blanked out. She's like, I'm going to be whatever. We know she's going to name herself Cortana, 2.0 or whatever it is. But it still seems kind of like a weak ending for a franchise for Cortana, the AI companion that we knew and loved and all that stuff throughout the generations of Halo games, to just be like a distant corner, quote unquote, because she is basically a memory in the game, but in Halo Infinite, but basically they're leaving her as a memory and not as the physical, like the digital physical character that she was. And I don't want that to happen to Cade and all the others and just have Marcus and all that. Hopefully they just don't keep going back into time to try to keep going into earlier Gears games. Finish up the story in the future. And then when you finish up that whole entire story of the Gears franchise, you could just reboot it. Or you can change it up. Reboot it and change it up in a different way. Make it a whole new classic characters, whatever, in an alternate time period, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. They can do a lot with the Gears of War franchise. They just gotta have some openness to it. They gotta open up their minds. People gotta be creative again and not just go by fucking spreadsheets and focus groups, which is most of that big industry now. A much big consolidated industry, which if these giants die off, then it's just PC game makers, which are all indies. It's crazy. It's crazy on how that goes and how everything is made, but I hate when a franchise is not finished. It bothers me to shit. It's like, oh, come on. Do one more. It's like the movies, like Prometheus movies. Sure. Nobody liked the first Prometheus. Nobody liked the second Prometheus movie for some reason. And, you know, I want them to finish it up with the third Prometheus movie because I wanted to see what they wanted to do or what they were going to do. Just like Independence Day Resurgence, the sequel that, frankly, I guess didn't do well. Many people didn't like, whatever. I thought it was decent. And I was like, well, let's finish this fight. Let's go back. Let's go kick some alien ass. Let's get a Independence Day 3. And unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever see that. And it just bothers me when it's like, oh, these big conglomerate media groups don't just finish franchises, even if it's good or not. Finish the fucking franchise. Stop being scared fucking bullshit cowards. Let's finish these things the correct way. I don't care about the fucking money. Finish the fucking fights. That's all I want to do. I want a franchise that finishes. That's what I like. I like franchises that finish. Or if it's the way of the franchise and they don't finish and they just go into a part where you think of what can keep going on or what can happen after. There are franchises like that. They're like, oh, yeah, we're done with this franchise, but you can keep going in your own mind on what these characters could do and what not and blah, 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 or how far they go in their journeys beyond this franchise. That's okay with me, but you got to end the main story that you end. There's a lot of animes that I watch and they finish off some stuff. Sometimes they don't finish off some stuff. And then it's like, well, there's no more anime of this anime. And it's like, well, what now? Are they going to ever create more of that anime, or am I just going to have to think of something on my own? I don't know. But like I said, even though this is a prequel made for a franchise, I think Gears of War E-Day, like I said, the multiplayer, the Horde, pretty damn good. Plays pretty damn good on my PC, and it plays very well, and I've enjoyed it, even though I'm not talking to anybody or anything like that. But like I said, hopefully I can try out some more of that this weekend. We'll see. I got some stuff that I'm going to be doing this weekend again. A lot of Emby stuff. I know I've been talking about that. I know it's not game related, but it's my own personal streaming service that I love very much, and it works very well. And I always have to promote that in one way or another, and this is the only podcast I do. And then Emby server and map. Like I said, people, if you don't know Emby, it is basically a file server back end where you could put on your NAS drive or your computer or something. And it has apps for it where you can turn this into like your streaming service of yourself. And it's like a Plex, or a Jellyfin, which Jellyfin is not doing very good right now, as I hear. And there's a lot of back end problems, but it's like a Plex, but without all that crud that Plex has been fucking up behind the scenes. If Plex didn't fuck anything up, maybe I would have given it another try, but because Plex was very, very complicated to get anything to work on the back end, and they were fucking everything up on the front end, I decided to never try to go back to Plex. And Emby seems to be very decent, and I bought a lifetime subscription because it was very easy to set up. It was very easy to get my media, and I'm still working on getting my media on there, especially my TV seasons and stuff. I got to rework the naming and numbering of those, but it's been working out fantastic. I've been watching stuff either on a tablet, a phone, on the TV, computer. I got the apps everywhere in my household, and I can go anywhere here outside my house and watch any movie or show eventually there'll be music and my personal media on there as well. And I've been really enjoying the Emby experience, and it's been something I needed for a very long time because I was a guy, if I wanted to watch a movie or TV show, I had to go into my file servers on my computer, tablet, whatever, and I just go into my NOS drive, go to folder by folder and looking, what's in this? A, B, C. Oh, I wonder what movies or show. Now, note, I do have the app that I have all my collections of movies and Blu-rays and TV shows and stuff on. And I could go searching through it for that way, but then I'm like, well, I don't want to just keep searching on that. I want to go, let me go look at my folders and stuff. And that was a pain in the ass. And it wasn't sleek, it wasn't sexy, and it just opened up my media player, like, my VLC media player to play the videos on. But with this is a whole streaming service that you make yourself. It's your own back end, and it's just so much better for people like me that have a lot of media. I have more movies than fucking Netflix ever had on my own personal service and TV shows that I love. That it's just boom, mind-boggling. And now that we don't know going forward, will there always be Blu-rays and TV shows and movies coming out on discs? And because people have been questioning that. I've been more on the optimist side. I've been more on the hopeful side that Blu-rays and physical media will survive, because TV shows and movies and stuff will always sell well on Blu-rays and DVDs, which is surprising that they still make DVDs. Excuse me for my nose. It's really like my allergies have been acting up. My sinus allergies have been acting up today. I don't know. I got the itchies everywhere. Excuse me. I know it's not pleasant on the screen. I might have to pause to blow my nose. I might do that now. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, folks. Like I said, sinuses and shit, just part of my everyday life, unfortunately, and no medication to help. But yeah, it's my other beyond gaming hobby. It's my other, interest in creative arts and stuff like that. I love, it's like my, it's my other creative arts and stuff. And I've been, like I said, I don't know where the world is going forward. I do not know where the world is going forward with physical media and stuff like that. Like I said, I think and pray and hope that Blu-rays and HD Blu-rays will continue to be pressed and made for future content going forward and for some back content. But I've been noticing a lot of stuff going missing, a lot of stuff not getting remade and stuff like that. So I've been heavily, now that I got this new Emby server going up, I've been thinking about movies. Now, note, I got most of the content that I really do want. Now, there's probably stuff out there that I still, like anime, lots of anime, a lot of other stuff that I still haven't seen or know about yet that I probably would love to know about eventually and be able to get a hold of some like physical media like Blu-rays, DVDs of stuff in the future. But as of right now, I've been going crazy. I've been spending a little bit of money now because this is my other semi-expensive hobby, and it gets expensive because a lot of these movies and Blu-rays and stuff that are out of print, you got to go to third parties like eBay and stuff like that, and third-party sellers, and get it new or used. And sometimes these things are costing me like $50-$60. But I've been buying, which I got behind me, which you can't see, but behind me, I got way more coming. I think I ordered like upwards to like over 20 something Blu-rays of movies and stuff like that to add to my collection. Because when I was going through my collection, I'm like, how come I don't have all these on Blu-rays? Or what happened to this? Because I thought I bought this on Blu-ray and that on Blu-ray. And I'm like looking, and I'm like, because I was going through totes because I had to re-rip a lot of things as well. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, I don't own this movie on Blu-ray? What? Why? It was a lot of opening my eyes and going, really, Mr. Mike? Or maybe I'm just not looking hard enough, because I do got multiple totes of Blu-rays. And they're not in order, folks. This is my own fault. They're not in order. They should be like in order of A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, you know, stuff like that. But they're not. They're just all piled up into totes because that would take a very long time to alphabetize and put into order all these thousands and thousands and thousands of discs of Blu-ray in cases in their original, you know, packaging and stuff. I don't take them out anymore. I used to do the whole folder binder thing, but I'm like, nah, that's not a good way to store stuff. I like to keep them in the original packaging, and yeah, that's my sickness and my my thing. But I've been buying, and I got upwards to like 25 or more Blu-rays coming in, and I got to rip all these things. And then, like I said, I got all the discs that I brought back out from the totes that I got to re-rip some like episodes of these shows and stuff that somehow are missing from my collection, or I didn't get them or something. And some movies I got to re-rip and stuff. And, you know, I'm tightening up my Emby and my other collection thing because I got this database that I have. It's called Collections, something, My Collections. That's what it's called. My Collections. It's an app. It can get it for Windows and your Android. I think probably for iOS as well. And you can sync your data between them. For it syncs for free and stuff. And I can add my own make my own lists of stuff like, oh, I got my Blu-rays or my DVDs or this and that. And I do that for myself because then I know what's in my collections and how much I have in my collection and stuff like that. And like I said, it's a sickness, but like I said, being my own service provider of multimedia, movies and stuff, just going all Blu-ray for a lot of this stuff. Because like I said, there's a lot of movies that I was surprised. I'm like, wait, how come I don't have these on Blu-rays by now? And now, like I said, a lot of them were out of print, and then a lot of them I'm like, ooh, I got to spend how much to buy this Blu-ray now? And a lot of times I've been finding them really cheap, but on a lot of times I've been like, ooh, this is a little pricey, but I got to buy them on Blu-ray because DVD ain't going to cut it. Because a lot of the stuff I had on DVD, and I'm like, oh, DVD is just fine. And then I'm like, nowadays DVD just ain't fine. 720, whatever, 480, 480p and stuff like that. No. It's got to be 1080p. Now, people will be like, well, why don't you do it in 4K? Now, no, I do get a lot of discs that are also have 4K Blu-ray discs and stuff, and I can theoretically capture those and, you know, rip those and stuff. But I think 1080p is my sweet spot. I think it's my perfect sweet spot right now that I'm ripping everything in 1080p. And, you know, getting the best quality as possible. And it keeps the file sizes small enough that I can fit thousands and thousands of stuff on my server. Because note, I got a giant multi-terabyte server NAS system at home. But all that entertainment, all those movies, music and stuff and photos and stuff that I got on that thing, it takes up a lot of room. For those files, they could still be like 5 to 10 gigabytes a piece, and that adds up with thousands and thousands of discs and media and stuff. So I've been, like I said, this weekend, probably starting after I stream on Friday, depending on that, or Saturday, I'm going to be taking a lot of these discs and just constantly ripping. Good thing I got 2 disk drives on my computer. I wish I had more on my computer to rip, but I got 2 disk drives on my computer, and I'm just going to keep ripping all these movies and shows and stuff. Get it all to the point where it's all good, and then I should have a cool down session. But more movies are coming out that I already pre-ordered for coming up in the future. Like I got that Mandalorian Grogu movie, which not many people liked. I thought it was okay. That's why I'm getting it. I thought it was fun. I'll definitely watch it again when I get it. Waiting for Toy Story 5 to eventually pop out on Blu-ray. I think that's coming at the end of the month, beginning of September. I think that they said that was surprisingly good. I'm surprised, but not surprised. But I'm also surprised being the 5th Toy Story movie from Pixar and then being basically ravaged by Disney now. Now, Pixar ain't Pixar too much anymore. They've just been fucked by Disney too hard, too much. It's kind of sad, but been with been still enjoying their content with Pixar stuff. But yeah, those are a couple other things, and I'm sure there's going to be more movies like that Wile E. Coyote and Acme movie that's going to be coming out on in theaters, and eventually that'll be on Blu-ray. I'll get that. I think there's a bunch. There's a Street Fighter movie coming. Probably will get that eventually on Blu-ray after I see that in theaters. There's a lot of stuff that'll still be coming out, and not as much as there used to be, because like I said, just like the gaming industry, the film industry is very consolidated now, and they're not making too much great content. There's some good stuff coming out, but a lot of it's just like pukey, same garbage in and out. But there are some diamonds in the rough with that stuff. But yeah, I don't trust Hollywood anymore. I don't really trust how the streaming services are going. You know, you got Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Max, the other ones. Don't really care. They either get movies, they don't get movies, shows. And I'm like, might as well own the content, own my own content, put it on my own back end, be able to watch it at my leisure. And on top of that, when I get all this stuff re-ripped and this other new stuff ripped and put it on my server with all my TV shows and everything's done, I got to re-download all that to my backup drive here. I got a backup USB drive that I'm going to put on my living room computer, and that's going to be copying from my NAS drive to that, and that's going to take days and days and days and days. And hopefully there won't be no power outages in my area. But it's going to be, well, I'm going to use that Terra copy. The Terra copy's been pretty good. That's a good speedy thing. I got to download that to my other computer in the living room. I got my mini computer in my living room that I use for stuff like that. I'm going to be, when I do my major copying of all my media to my backup system, I'm going to definitely need to Terra copy all that. And I think even when the power goes out, I think Terra copy will remember that. And it'll be like, oh, do you want to continue where we left off? And I'll be like, sure. So that'll be at least a plus for that. But it's going to go on for days, copying terabytes of data from that to a drive. And it's going to be crazy. It's going to be really crazy. But that's what I've been doing, because that's my crazy project. It's always an ongoing project. I think I've been tightening it up little by little, but now, like I said, after doing this Emby project here and having Emby as my back-end media server of choice, I've been fully formed. And when it's all said and done, I'll just sit back and relax and reap the rewards of it. And then when I get movies and shows, I just rip them, number them, and do them the stuff correctly, and then I just put it in there and it'll accept it, and it's just like you got your whole thing right there. I love it. It is something that cleanses my mind for how much of craziness I got going on. And it's a fun project. Expensive, but fun project. And purchasing a ton of Blu-rays and, like I said, TV shows. Like, I've been on eBay and I've been buying like this anime. Paid $65 for this, couple disc anime? I think 2 disc anime. Just because I thought it looked really good, and you can't get it anywhere anymore. $60 on that. A movie, which you're gonna laugh at. You're gonna be like, you spent how much on that fucking movie? Spent $54 with change, because there was shipping involved. I think so. No, sales tax, free shipping. It used to be like $65 or something for this movie. I talked the guy down to $50. I said, will you take $50 for this? And they accepted it, and I paid, of course, with the tax and stuff, this for tax, sales tax. Paid $50 and some change for get ready for this, for Money Train. You ever hear of the movie Money Train? Now, I already own it on DVD. It's with Wesley Snipes and what's his name? Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes, and I was gonna almost say Angelina Jolie. No, I'm J-Lo in there. It's called Money Train. It's a great movie. Amazing movie. Fun, off the top, action packed, drama, funny movie with those people. And I'm like, why don't I own this on Blu-ray? And I looked it up. I went on Amazon, went everywhere, and nobody had it. And then I went on eBay. People have it. People are selling this movie for like over $100. And this is a brand new copy I'm getting, apparently. We'll find out. It should be, because usually you can't scam people, because then you can report them and say, this ain't new. But it's supposed to be a brand new copy of Money Train that I'm getting delivered to me. I spent $50 on it. I know it's crazy. I know I got it on DVD and it looks and plays fine from, my file that I ripped from DVD, but I wanted the Blu-ray version so I could rip a higher quality copy of that, because it's a great movie. And I did this for a bunch of movies. And there are still a bunch of movies that probably I don't know, but a lot of them I found at good prices, thank God, still. So I bought up a whole mess of them. Spent probably almost over like $400 on Blu-ray movies, including animes that I purchased for this project so far. It's an expensive venture. And that's why I try to save money on video games. That's why I hope Game Pass stays around for a while, because if I have to start buying $70, $80 video games, that's not going to be a happy camper day for me or anybody. It's my own craziness, but that's what I like to do. Let's see here. Like I said, they're out of print. They're expensive. So, that's it. I'm not going to get into the games that I played for the past week. I'll just quickly go through them. It's PowerWash Simulator 2. I played a bit of. Of course, I streamed Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced for you guys, as you know. And as you know, it works again, at least for now. So we're all good on that. And we'll find out together. Well, this is like I said, I'm recording this podcast before tomorrow, which is the day I'm streaming my next session of playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. So we'll find out together, because we will do it again in the future, and we'll see if the audio still continues to be okay, which I'm fingers crossed, knocking on fake wood. I got nowhere else to knock. And I've been having fun with Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, even though I'm not really doing the story missions, and I'm fucking around with Edward and stuff, going to sailing around, blowing up stuff, taking stuff. Got to focus more on the story, and I got to start, I got to figure out how to get more resources so I can build up my ship and stuff more without having to probably purchase DLC stuff for that, because I wouldn't want to do that. But it's been a fun game. I've been really enjoying it. Story and the sailing and the pirating and stuff and the thieving. It's been really cool. It's been really, really good game. And that's, like I said, continuing to be my streamer game. Hopefully going forward. I even created the starter for it finally. Also been playing like every day a bit of Plants vs. Zombies Replanted on the Series X, of course. Been loving going back to a simpler time when Plants vs. Zombies was the best thing out there for a side-scrolling, shooter. What would we call that? Side-scrolling tapper before. I don't know. It was a great game. It was a great game. It still is with Replanted. It works fun. It works fine. It plays great. Still gonna try to get all those achievements. Why not? And then, like I said, I played the Gears of War E-Day multiplayer over the weekend. I already talked about that. That's about it. Haven't gotten into any more Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth or anything yet. I cannot. And that Beast of what, Reincarnation, is that what it's called? I forget what that's called. Oh shit, what was that game? What is that game called? Oh boy. Do I even have it on here? Beast of Reincarnation. Haven't even tried that out yet. It's on my computer here. Haven't tried it yet. I got to try that game. Maybe that'll be hopefully a let's play for next week, because I'm really interested in what that's going to be pertaining to. Haven't heard many people talk about that. I like I said, I've been listening to all these so-called gaming podcasts, and I haven't heard anything about this game. Not once from any of these people yet. And it's kind of interesting. It's kind of odd. It's like, is this game really not that good for people? People not really talking about this game? And I'm like, oh, I got to try this game out, because this is a game by Game Freak, who makes the Pokemon games. And it looks kind of interesting, and I'm going to try it out and see if I like it or not. I'm going to see what they can do. It looked interesting when I seen the trailer, and I'm like, I want to give it a try. It's a Game Pass game. It's free to play. I want to give it a try. So that I got to give it a try eventually. And if I do a let's play of it for next week, I will. For this week, if you're watching and listening to this Wednesday, that might be the thing. Really interested in that. Also, like I said, I haven't played much of any Final Fantasy. I got to get back into that, because there's a bunch of Final Fantasy I got to play. Got to beat that, because next year will be coming around the corner. And then I got GTA coming. And then after that, I got more Final Fantasy. There's going to be a lot more to do gaming-wise with these big games. So I got to get at it. I got to get out of this gaming rut and start being able to play my games more. But like I said, I've been doing other projects, doing all this stuff. And unfortunately, it takes up my time, like I said, during the summertime for gaming-wise. And happens to me every summer. Maybe next summer I'll be a little bit easier on me. I don't know. I'm not thinking it will be, but I'll try. But those were the games. Nothing really much. Nothing really new on the list. But those were the games. So why don't we get into the gaming news that is the game's news? And we're going to do that now, because why not? Let's get this podcast rolling.
Locked and loaded, ready for the fight. Game Talk Newz, gonna set the stage alight. Mr. Mike's got the scoop, he ain't holding back. Dropping bombs on the gaming industry track. Hear the thunder, feel the roar. Game Talk Newz, gonna settle the score. From E3 to PAX, they got it all. The highs and lows, ready to brawl.
There we go. I did it perfect again. Everybody, the gaming news is here, and we got some gaming news here for you guys, and I know you're gonna love these gaming news. So I was talking about how fans are still, saying this is unbelievably scummy. That GTA 6 fans are still being annoyed by Netflix's paywalled extended look at the game of GTA 6, which I'm just like, why, when it's just a handful of hours later, it's just gonna go on YouTube, especially when Netflix, the people over in Netflix says, hey, if you guys want to rip this from the Netflix thing, if there's people gonna want to cover this, whatever, they can go right ahead and do it and rip this thing, because this is just the show of the game, and hopefully the game and the gameplay and stuff like that. And that's all it is. So it does make no sense. Oh, I just got a little thing here. Hold on one second. Sorry about that, folks. I got a little notification saying my Money Train Blu-ray is being shipped right now. hmm I'm sorry. That's crazy. Yeah, but people are still going crazy about this, and it's gonna happen on August 27th. I think that, what did they say? That's a Friday or Thursday? Friday, Thursday. What is August 27th? I always forget. I think it's a Friday. Don't quote me on that. No, it's a Thursday. Okay, it's Thursday, August 27th, which, like I said, um, at 3 p.m. Eastern time, it'll be on Netflix first for the extended look, and then 9 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube after that, so 6 hours. And I'm first off, I won't be able to watch this because I will be asleep by then at 9 p.m. Eastern time on you to watch that. So I'll have to wait till Friday when I get home from work to watch this extended look of GTA 6. I don't really give a shit. I do give a shit, but I don't really give a shit. Even if it was only on Netflix, I wouldn't give a shit either because I'd probably watch something else on Netflix, like some original show, and rent it for a month. But otherwise, it is coming on YouTube a little bit after. They're just doing something with Netflix, or Netflix is doing something with them just to try something out. People shouldn't get up in arms about this because it's not like you cannot watch this, and it's not being paid walled because it's only for people that, they're only putting on there first for people that are paying for Netflix. And I'm sure Netflix is paying a bit of money to get this on there, and it's still coming out. And they say for the people that do have Netflix that are doing this and watching this extended look, and if they want to cover that and stream it or whatever, they can do it. So it still won't matter at all. So you guys will be able to watch it on your Twitch streams and whatever, live YouTubes and stuff like that on that day. So don't go crazy going, it's just a game. I love the game. I love the Grand Theft Auto series, but it's still just a game, folks. We got to calm down about this stuff. But apparently people just cannot go. People are crazy. People are crazy about this stuff. And I think it gets overhanded, and it doesn't help when you got like the CEO of Take-Two going, "Hey guys, Netflix is great. You guys should get this Netflix so you can watch our extended trailer for it. And it's worth getting Netflix to watch this extended trailer of or whatever of Grand Theft Auto 6 or this extended look." And it's like, yeah, that doesn't help. He doesn't help much. He's just being a jackass, a jackass CEO of a company because he knows GTA 6 is going to do okay for them, I guess. We'll see. I don't know. I still think maybe they're over predicting on how much it's going to make by the wintertime. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm still thinking, well, we got all these hardware shortages still. We're still having hard times of, people apparently still don't have money or jobs. So how many people can afford and be able to play this game this year? And I'm like thinking, okay, if the majority of people can't afford to get new or be able to or afford new consoles for this game, and the game is like $80 or $100 depending on what you want, and people can't afford that, I still don't understand how people are able to pre-order this game for that much amount of money. But people apparently in this news states that the $100 Ultimate Edition GTA 6 is selling more pre-orders than the $80 Standard Edition, says Strauss Zelnick from Take-Two, as he is a CEO. And to me, that's crazy because first off, you don't really need to pre-order this game. People don't have to run out say, "I gotta pre-order this game because it's gonna go away. My virtual pre-order is not gonna get filled," or whatever. I don't know why people are running out. Me, like I said, I want to watch this extended look first and see. Hopefully they'll show a lot of gameplay and how the game controls work and stuff with the game and how the characters are going to work this time around and how your inventory, I want to see all that stuff before I go and I drop my $80 to $100. I'm sure I'm going to still do it, but I'm going to be like, I want to see what I am going to be getting myself into. I want to see this world. I want this world to awe and inspire me and blow me away on this very long journey that we've been waiting for, that this super giant world that we've been thinking about and what we're going to be doing in this giant world with this game, which we know it's Grand Theft Auto, so we know what we're going to be partially doing, and playing as Lucia, which is going to be awesome, playing as a female this time around in a Grand Theft Auto. That's just taking me beyond, recognition there. But, because usually people are like, there's a chick as the main character of the game. Fuck that. But some reason nobody's really complaining about Lucia in this game being the main character. Sure, you got her boyfriend. I don't know if you play as him or not, but nobody's been really complaining about her being the main character. And apparently, like I said, been saying, and what it says in this news article here is that the $100 edition is selling way more than the $80 edition, and it's selling like gangbusters right now. With this with the pre-orders here, and it's like, okay, maybe people don't, always give a shit that the main protagonist is a female. Is it just me, or is it usually people complaining that the main characters are female, but now it's like, oh, maybe the majority doesn't, and they're accepting her? Is there something about Lucia that people accept? Because she ain't Lara Croft. She ain't Tomb Raider and Lara Croft, but okay. But people are pre-ordering the $100 edition because I guess they're all worried about what they might miss out if they just get the $80 edition, which to me, I would have to say I want to see if they talk about what each edition comes with, or show a little bit of what to expect between the $80 or the $100 edition. Maybe, hopefully, if they're good people, which I doubt they are, but I would hope that they would show me, hey, if you're getting this $80 edition, you get to play all this stuff and great stuff, but we're going to show you some stuff that you're going to miss out on, and they'll show us what you can't do or whatever. I would hope they would do that in this extended look. I don't know if they will, but I would like it if they did that, because that would be just a goodwill gesture. Plus, it would be like, oh, if you really want to do this extra stuff. I know they talked about it in articles and their reports and stuff, but seeing is believing more of that. It's understanding more of it than reading it out. Like I said, folks, I will get at least the base edition, $80 edition. But if, like I said, my gift card, my rewards money, my rewards points money is going up. So I might consider beginning the $100 edition if I get enough reward points to add up to it. If not, maybe I'll stick with the $80 edition and say I'm good. But if I do decide to get the $100 edition, I got to make sure the majority of that points is ready, which is looking very good, folks. I've been earning lots and lots of reward points and bonus reward points on my Microsoft rewards stuff. So I'm already almost at 50. So when it hits 50, then it just keeps going, and I just keep adding to that pay packet there that I can use to not overspend on GTA again this time around, especially because it's all digital editions, which, like I said, doesn't matter to me, but I feel like I'll be having a lot more fun time playing Grand Theft Auto, because I'm like, I didn't spend $80 or $100 on this. I spent less than that on this game compared to other people, and that just would make me a little bit happier. Then they were talking about, excuse me, my voice is going, I think. Then they were talking about how they felt like, oh, we could have charged even more money for Grand Theft Auto. I'm like, shut the fudge up. Shut the fudge up. I didn't like that. I hate it when these companies say, oh, I think we could have charged even more. And it's like, don't worry, you got Shark. You're going to have GTA Online, the new GTA Online eventually next year or something. And then you're going to make people buy more Shark cards and new stuff and all that. So you don't have to be too greedy with this game. I don't know why you would think you'd have to be super greedy with this game when you're going to sell an online version of it with all the Shark cards and stuff. I know they're going to do that. When this game becomes popular next year, when they bring out the GTA Online with the GTA 6 stuff in it, as we are all thinking they're going to do, they're just going to be making more bank, a lot more bank. So why you keep talking about you wish we could have raised the price even more? Fuck that. Blizzard reportedly leads Xbox's top performing studio thanks to Overwatch and Diablo. I think I still have Overwatch installed on my Xbox. I still got to try that out. I know Tracer. She's hot. See, there you go. Female in the video game. But yeah, I always wanted to try out Overwatch, especially because it's just a part of Microsoft and it's free for me to play. I just never did. Diablo 4, amazing game. I didn't ever buy any of the DLC like the Lord of Hatred, but I guess it's sold well. People loved Diablo 4 Lord of Hatred, and it helped them become one of the best selling things in Xbox Studios for top performing Xbox Studio. Okay, why not? Why not? Let's see here. Even though Xbox had a lackluster earnings report, apparently World of Warcraft developers president Joanna Ferris celebrated its status in leaked emails reported by Windows Central. She was said to have told staff that Blizzard was firing on all cylinders. And blah, 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 blah. Yeah, like I said, when Blizzard makes some games, they make some good games. On the Blizzard side of Activision Blizzard. When they make Diablos, when they do that, I still wish they would do something for World of Warcraft where they would put it to a Game Pass thing. I know that'll probably never happen, especially now, because I'm sure they don't want to lose that World of Warcraft money, because they never talk about that. You notice they never talk about the World of Warcraft money, even though there's still, hundreds of millions of players playing World of Warcraft, I would still think. And I'm still thinking they're still all getting that paying that subscription money. Let's see. Let's see how many people are still playing World of Warcraft. How many people are still playing WoW today? Let's see if we can get some statistics here. The current World of Warcraft player count of August 2016. Let's see here. Concurrent players today. Oh, they're actually going to today. Let's see here. As estimated at 1,275 concurrent players as of today. So there's over 1,000 people today, with a monthly active player base of around 3,664. Okay, not bad, I guess. I don't know what a good number is for that. Let's see here. The 1,275 figure is a 7-day rolling estimate of concurrent players compiled by public signals such as Reddit, Steam, and Twitch. The 3,664 monthly number represents the latest estimated monthly active player population, which is the average number of unique players over the month. These are not official Blizzard numbers. They are third-party estimates and can fluctuate daily. Okay. How many people are still playing WoW? I'm not even going to say today. World of Warcraft currently has an estimated 3 to 5 million active subscribers. globally with around 8.1 million monthly players and daily concurrent peaks exceeding 500,000. Okay, that's what it says here. So 3 to 5 million active subscribers. Not bad. Still good. That's still good numbers. That's some still good numbers there. So but they never talk about it. They do some Blizzard like World of Warcraft stuff, but they never talk about it. And I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. That was a news story from, I think, Windows Central. Now, this one from VGC, your friends over at Video Game Chronicles. Xbox CTO states the issue that caused last month's outage has been fixed. Now, this was, I guess, that like almost 1 day Xbox outage after the PlayStation had their outage, and they didn't really say much about it, but Xbox, they came out and said, oh, we noticed we have an outage. We're trying to fix it, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. This is unacceptable, blah, 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 blah. Remember that? And I talked about that, and now they came out again. Xbox's chief technology officer stated the issue led to a major Xbox outage last month has been fixed. And there was some code, I guess. The major outage was caused by some code in the Xbox's code base, whatever, in the bottom of the it's in the code base of how games ping to the servers and whatnot, and it should have allowed the games to continue to work, but for some reason it cascaded into a failure that didn't allow the games to work, blah, 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 for some games and apps and stuff like that, preventing players be able to, use them and stuff offline. It was he says it's compounded by a bug in the Xbox client software stack, which caused other license checks to fail, and that first service went down. He added, these two issues created some cascading failures, like I just said, scenarios that affected some players' ability to launch games, causing cascading issues with the library. Enumeration. Wow. Big words, man. Enumeration. As of right now, the issue has been addressed with a firmware update rolling out to Xbox users now. We are transitioning ownership of the underlying licensing service to the Xbox team, while our engineers are actively hardening our services and infrastructure for future updates, he wrote. The client bug has been fixed in an upcoming release, which starts rolling out as of now and will become mandatory on August 17th. Let's see here. And of course, they say Van Vliet, that's his name, states that the engineering and operations teams will focus on looking broadly across our stack to improve reliability of our products and services to make further outages less likely in the future. And that, well, they should just make it so that the games work offline, that are offline games. That now, if these are games that need online servers to work, yeah, of course they're going to be down. But for the games that shouldn't need them, that you should be able to just play the game, and it should know you own the game, and you don't need any servers or anything like that on the back end side. You should be able to play them, at least for a bit, and then if they want that game to ping the server once in a super blue moon great while, then sure. But otherwise, you should have a digital license for that game, and it should just work with your Xbox. And then eventually, when you get online, you can prove that you own the game, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they still got some work to do, but at least they're talking about it, and at least they're fixing it. On the Sony side, did we hear anything more about what they're doing and what happened with their online service? And did they apologize? Are they talking about any freebies? Are they saying that they're working hard to make it sure that they don't have any outages anymore, especially when they're all going to the future of let me guess, of just being all digital and no physical in 2028. What's their plan? What's their plan over at PlayStation? How come Xbox is doing all this stuff? Like I said, folks, my Xbox, even though they're in the shit toilet right now at Microsoft, and Microsoft's a big giant shit bowl right now, at least they're trying. At least they're talking. That's what I like to hear. I like to hear them talking. I like to hear them planning. I like to see them doing stuff. They're trying hard. They're going back to that state of, we want to be the scrappy young people again. Even though we're still laying off a bunch of people, we want to be the scrappy young people again. And we want to fight to get our way back to the top. Where Sony's being fat and lazy, and they think their shit don't stink, that they think that, oh, whatever they do when they give up all the games, discs and stuff that they don't care, that people still come to Sony and PlayStation when Microsoft and Xbox is doing better UIs, better ways to play, more ways to play, and more places. You can buy a game once and play it anywhere. They just did that for that Baldur's Gate 3. That became a play anywhere game. Even though it's still expensive, it's a play anywhere title now on Xbox. It just came up on my Xbox PC store, and I'm like, what? Baldur's Gate 3 is on my Xbox PC store now? And I look, and now it's a play anywhere title. So they're getting companies to make these play anywhere titles eventually on their system. I'm like, oh, that's awesome, because that means I could just eventually, when it gets a little cheaper, I'll buy Baldur's Gate 3, and I'll be able to play on my PC and ROG Ally and stuff, because I was interested in that game. I don't really care about the dice thing, but I'm interested in the Dungeons and Dragons aspect of that stuff, and I would like to play Baldur's Gate 3 and stuff like that, but I'm like, okay. And there's a lot of other games I've been seeing more so that are going cross-spy, cross-play, all that stuff. And I'm like, good. This is a good sign, because if I don't want to play it on my console and I want to just play on my PC, I got that choice. Choice is great for a gamer. That makes me want to buy that game, because then it's like, oh, I'm getting 2 games for the price of 1, basically. And I can play it anywhere I want. Where do you play your games, Sony? If you don't want to play on that, if you don't want to play on your PlayStation and you want to play on your handheld, oh, you can't play that Sony title on your handheld. Oh, you can't play it on your PC. Can with Xbox. I'm just saying. Plus, they're working on making sure everything else is working good. Plus, you'll be able to keep your discs, at least for the time being, and hopefully they try to get enough backwards compatibility, and they're still going to have a disc drive in the future, in the next console, even though we don't really need it, but, still, they're going to have one, unlike the other people. Just saying. Gears of War E-Day themed Xbox controller is up for pre-order, and it was already sold out on Amazon, apparently. The controller went out of stock on Amazon for a few hours, but I guess it's back in stock right now. I don't know. Let me check. Because this news story was like the day before. And it is back out of stock again on the Amazon store. So apparently people are interested in Gears of War. Or they're interested in this Gears of War E-Day controller. Let me try. Because usually if I go to the source and not Amazon, and I go to Xbox, and I go to xbox.com, and I go to their store, usually, because if it's out here, then it's out everywhere. If it's not available here, it's not available anywhere. At least not until you get like a third-party scalper thing. Okay, this is the beta. I'm looking for controllers. Maybe I should have went to devices. Accessories, controllers. There we go. Here it is. Let's see. Oh, they got 2 of them? Wait. Xbox Wireless Controller. Gears of War E-Day Limited Edition available on the Xbox Design Lab. Oh, this one looks even cooler. Oh, it's coming soon. Oh, okay. Oh, then they got a special where? Oh, I shouldn't have went to this page because it got some cool looking controls. They got this Xbox wireless controller X25 special edition one, the green one. Oh, you're kidding me. What's this one? Oh my God, this one looks even cooler. It's got a big skull on it and stuff. Huh. But you could still pre-order on Xbox, on Xbox.com, folks, if you want the Gears of War E-Day limited edition controller. Just to tell you, I was thinking about getting one, but I'm like, I do not really need this controller. It looks okay. It's got a nice crimson skull in the middle. It's got the gear. It's got a really funky, it looks like it's going to be a feeling type of controller. It really has that feeling, but the Gears of War E-Day is Microsoft's major Xbox exclusive for the coming holiday season. It's the prequel to the gritty chainsaw slinging series that helped make the 360 the best console in its generation. Microsoft is releasing a limited edition Gears of War E-Day themed wireless controller. It costs $90. It is set to release September 30th. Pre-orders are now live. I wonder if it's available at Best Buy. I didn't even check. I forgot about Best Buy. How about Best Buy here? Oh, no. Wait. Oh, hold on. No, you can still pre-order at Best Buy, apparently, too. So it was just Amazon, I guess. And let's see here. Emergence Day. Okay, let's see here. I'm just saying. Yeah, the controller is black with a gaping red hole opening on its faceplate, the cracks of which spread down the grips. Its bold design, complete with 3D molded laser etching details, meaning you can actually feel the cracks in the series' iconic skull image. The Crimson Omen is the emblazoned in the center of the red hole. Both triggers are made from transparent red plastic, which I'm sure will degrade over time. And all of the face buttons, save for the Xbox button, are unlabeled, which is pretty cool. Okay, so they're unlabeled. I didn't notice that. Let's see. Oh yeah, you're right. They are unlabeled. Huh. I did not notice that. Okay, they don't got the A, B. I don't like that. I want to see my Y, X, A, B. I don't want to not know, even though I know where the Y, the A, the B, and the X are. Right? I'm right about that. Yeah. Y, A, B, X. Okay. Yeah. I know where they are, but still. And I guess there's an 8-bit dual ultimate charging dock for the Xbox controllers for Gears of War E-Day that you can get on Amazon for $39.99 that I guess they partnered up with to their official Gears of War E-Day chargers. But and you can get the game, $70. You could get the physical copy on Amazon. Gears of War E-Day. Looks cool for the packaging. I like the look of that. I don't get that anymore. I don't do that anymore. They got the art of making of Gears of War E-Day. Ooh, I like that stuff. Anyways, this controller looks cool. $90. They got an even cooler controller coming out. Eventually. It looks even cooler. I might want to get that one. It's got all these skulls. It's got the chainsaw going across, it looks like. I think that's the Lancer. It looks even cooler. I'm going to wait till that one gets pre-orderable. Maybe I'll get that one. Because I do like my custom looking cool Xbox controllers. That is something that they do sell a lot of. For a part of a company that they say that they're not making money off of for Xbox, they gotta be selling a fucking shit ton of controllers because these are all going out of stock, and these are selling like hotcakes, especially on Amazon. If it's selling on an Amazon, it's probably selling on a lot of places. Apparently, Halo Studios, which was formerly named 343 before, went too far in the wrong direction. Co-creator of Halo hits out at the main menu ring in Xbox's new remake. This is an IGN story, of course. One of the creators of Halo has issued a few choice words for Xbox's latest remake of Combat Evolved, especially the ring we see in the main menu and the lack of PvP, which That's why it's called campaign evolved, not combat evolved. It's campaign evolved. That's why they didn't add PvP on that. So his name is Marcus Leto, was one of the key people behind the creation of the Halo at Bungie. And while he left the studio a long time ago, he's still a popular figure amongst fans of the first-person shooter franchise. So when Leto took aim at the Halo ring and the recently released Halo campaign evolved, fans took notice. While Forerunner tech was metal, not stone, it was also ancient, vast, and alive, and a tomb of horrors that lurked within. He began in a series of tweets on X. It had seen hundreds of millennia of conflict, yet the game shows it as a shiny metal that looks like it was built a few years ago. Yes, because it's a newer game, and they took some new creative liberties, and they just didn't want to do everything the same old as your original Halo game and stuff like that, and they changed a few things. And I understand that's not what you liked, but, tech has changed, and I'm sure it was a lot easier to create that than what your stone looked like. And, yeah, it's their game now. You're not working on this game anymore. They've revamped it. If they're revamping stuff, they revamped a lot of stuff in the game. And they didn't add PvP because that's not what this game is called. It's called Halo Campaign Evolved, not Halo Combat Evolved again with multiplayer, And I understand the original Halo because I'm looking at the side-by-side pictures here of the original and that, because I forgot what the original one looked like, even though I played that game many times. I'm like, yeah, it looks all like Stone Leg and stuff like that. It looks cool, but I do like this newer one. It looks more futuristic, and it looks like something that like aliens would make and stuff like that. But, I understand their true original vision and stuff like that, and I can understand why the team chose to change it up for the new nowadays and stuff and make it more realistic, like, in a way. I understand. It was a team. Remember, it's also a team that had lots of issues going on, and they talk about that, I think, too, right? Did I not put that on here? But apparently, Halo Campaign Evolved had a lot of issues going on behind the scenes, of course, as you know, because it changed from 343 to the Halo Studios. And it's never been an easy trying to make Halo games there, and it's still not, or hopefully it'll get better now. And they had to do some stuff. They had to work out some shit, and they had to get this out, and they're working on a new engine for them and stuff, and not the regular Halo engine. So a lot of stuff they had to combat, and I got to give them credit for what they have done. It is a good it's a good new shiny campaign. I'm liking it. I just got to give it to them. And I understand that a lot of the original creators of the game are a little hesitant and like, about a lot of stuff. But remember, you guys aren't working there anymore. This isn't your game anymore. You can play your game. Your game is still available. It's not like they took your game and like a Sony or somebody and flushed it down the toilet and you can never play it again. You could still play your original Halo. I have your original copy of Halo. I got the original Halo copy. I can play the original Halo or the Halo campaign combat evolved on, still on there. They still have those original Halos on there. They just making this for them. This is their new one. This is for this team to make. And I got to understand their vision. I understand what your vision was and how you did everything and how you made everything look. And now this is their vision. This is their take on the original Halo. This is like taking like some movie from back in the day, making it today, and doing a lot of stuff differently. That's just how it is. It's creative differences, and creative differences change on how things look, act, and how they work. And a lot of the levels, a lot of the game is changed dramatically. Like I hear the library's changed, and I can't wait to play that and not get, aggravated like everybody, like we always did, because the library was so big and boring. Now we won't be able to do that this time. So yeah, because I will be continuing to play Halo again. But yeah, the people got, unfortunately, I hate to say it, I respect their game, their original game. I respect how that was created and made and the art and all that. But I also respect these new people and making it with Unreal 5 and trying to do that stuff and trying to do that, doing it for audiences of today. So Halo campaign involved sales estimates put it at nearly a 50-50 split between Xbox and PlayStation 5 buyers. So apparently this game sold 1.2 million copies across Xbox, PS5, and Steam, according to estimates. Let's see here. Alania, estimates revenue so far. Bear in mind that campaign involved has only been out for 2 weeks so far, stands at approximately $67 million. The firm estimates the split in purchases by platform to be around 42% on Xbox, 41% on PS5, which is surprising because I thought it didn't really sell well on PlayStation 5. So I guess still ahead. And 17% on Steam. Elanina's Rhymes Elliott calls the sales figures soft so far, citing too high a price for the package, lacking in competitive multiplayer. Yes, that's what a lot of people said, but this is called campaign evolved, not the regular combat evolved. But also, yes, I agree. I even said this. They should have made this a $39.99 game or a $40 game and not a $50 game. If it was $39.99, $40, I bet a lot more people would be buying this game. Or when this drops down in price, if they do decide, oh, let's drop this down $10 or something, I bet you a lot of people will buy it, especially in the fall time and stuff. Even though Grand Theft Auto is out, I'm sure people will buy this when it drops down in price. Yeah, $50 is too much, especially when you got the Halo the Master Chief Collection at $40, because they're even talking about this. And it comes with multiplayer inside and all that. So yeah, it's something that, yes, I know it took a bit of time, and I know it took a little bit of time and money to make this game, but they got to do better on the pricing. They got to do better. Like I said, if they would have made this just as a nice $39.90, because they brought this out multiple times already so far. And if they would have just kept it, if they would have made it a good competitive price at $39.99, I bet you those sales would be in like 5 million. They'd be making like 5 million sales or something. I bet you all the Xbox, all the PC, maybe the PlayStation 5 people would all be buying this game because they'd be like, oh, they're bringing this out. It's only the campaign. They're remastering it, and it's only $39.99 instead of, and it's not something super insanely expensive. Okay. Then you'll get more sales, more people will buy it, and you'll get more money from the sales, and people won't go, well, this is a little higher price because it's $50. That's why another reason I'm glad I'm in Game Pass, because I wasn't going to spend $50 on this. If I didn't have Game Pass Ultimate, I would have probably waited till this game went on sale as well. But I don't have to do that because I got it on Game Pass, so I get to play it. I don't have to worry about, the whole bullshit that is, the $50 price tag because they think it's worth $50. No, it's $40 would be good. $50, yeah. They're asking. It's just like when they wanted $70 or $80 for what do you call it? For what was it called? For the Outer Worlds 2. That fucked that game up too. Because Microsoft got in the way of that. Whoever does the pricing over there, whoever makes up the pricing and stuff of this stuff, they're the ones that fucked it up. So it's their faults on that. And maybe they should rethink that in their pricing scheme And things like this, these projects that they're just doing as remasters, should maybe be a little bit cheaper when they come out. Just saying. Xbox CEO gets Elder Scrolls 6 demo, teases the subtitle, and they don't really say it. She don't really say it, but apparently she posted on X live playthrough of Elder Scrolls 6 with some asterisks here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 asterisks. As she posted on her account, the scale and grandeur are incredible. She says the story's even greater. So I guess hopefully this is going to be a great Elder Scrolls game, because why not? Her statement certainly poses a lot of questions, starting with what does the asterisk mean? And people are wondering if she uses the exact number asterisk for whatever the word is. And I bet you a lot of people are going to be like trying to figure out what those asterisk words come out of those asterisks. Elder Scrolls 6 fucked. Fucked. How many is that? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, I can't even count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 7, 8. I got 7. Fuck. Wait, Fucked. Oh my god. Close, but no cigar. What is 8 characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's hard to look when you're looking at asterisks on a screen. It's a bunch of asterisks. It's hard to read. Look at them and see how many there are. It just blinds my vision a little bit. There's 8 of them. So, what letter words can you come up with in those 8 asterisks? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, okay. She's got the demo, so I'm guessing it's playable. And she likes it, so okay. And I'm wondering if this game is going to, I don't know. I wonder how it's going to do, because people still complain about the Starfield thing. I thought Starfield was okay, but a lot of people didn't like it. And Todd Howard and his team have a lot to prove with Elder Scrolls 6. They can't fuck it up. And then after that, then people are going to be going to Fallouts. So it's going to be a lot of Fallouts coming out. So from various sources and stuff. So, and Todd Howard says still Elder Scrolls 6 is 2 years away with, finishing up the game and polishing and fixing bugs and stuff. So it's not like it's coming out anytime soon. So yeah, we got that as well. But I'm interested. I still got to play the remaster Elder Scrolls Oblivion game. I got to get back into that someday. I went and played a little bit and tested it out. I'm like, yep, this is Oblivion. And I started it, but I didn't get into it because it's a big game and there's a lot going on in Oblivion. And I'm like, no, I just got off Skyrim. I just beat Skyrim finally. It's going to be a little while before I do that. And then I got all these other big games. But eventually I want to get back in Oblivion again and play Oblivion. I liked Oblivion. Oblivion was good. In other news from VGC this time, not the last one was IGN. This one's from our friends at VGC again. Talking about Persona 4 Revival. Producer states remakes of Persona 1 and 2 are something we should definitely do. Now, I never seen or played any of the first Personas. I never knew anything about Persona until Persona 4 Golden on the PSP. And that was something I got into because a friend got me into it technically by accident because he was playing it. I'm like, oh, what's this Persona 4 Golden thing? And I played a little bit. And at first, when I bought it and played it on my Vita, I didn't understand Persona 4. I didn't understand how to play those games. And then Persona 5 came out, Royale, and I got into that. I learned how to play that, and I learned how to play all the Persona. Then went back, and I played and beat Persona 4 Golden as well. Now I got to play Persona 3 Reload eventually. I have that. I got to play that and beat that. And then, of course, there's that Persona 6 that's sneakily being teased when we'll find out about it, maybe in the summertime or in the fall time. Maybe they'll show some of the Keeley's event at the Game Awards show, or maybe we'll find out about it in the spring and summer of next year. They don't have to bring out anything yet, but I'm very interested in what they're going to do for the future of Persona and those games and stuff. And like I said, I never played Persona 1 or 2. Never knew nothing really much about them. I'm looking at this like cover art of the original, and I'm like, okay. But if they're gonna do remakes of those eventually, maybe that'd be interesting. I'd be interested for that stuff. Not too interested in the Persona 4 Golden remake, because I know they took out a lot of stuff out of that and don't really care about it. But I think it's coming on Game Pass. I thought they said it was coming on Game Pass. Don't quote me on that. Let me see here. Hold on. Persona 4 remake coming Game Pass. Yes, coming. Yes, the upcoming Persona 4 Revival remake will launch on February 18th of 2027, and it will be available on Game Pass from day one. Okay, so it is coming to Xbox and PC Game Pass day one as the remake. So I don't have to worry about spending money on that, but I could try it out a little bit. Because like I said, I just played it and beat it, and it's a very long game as well. Yeah, Persona games are long. They're long and they can get pretty challenging and head wrapping. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Square Enix reveals that 90% of its sales are digital, but there's a catch. Let's see here. According to units sold breakdown of Square Enix's latest fiscal report, the publisher moved a total of 7.38 million game units globally across North America, Europe, Japan, and the rest of the world. Out of 6.65 million units were digital downloads, while physical packaged games accounted for a mere 0.73 million. When you do the math, digital sales represent exactly 90.11% of all units sold during the quarter, a staggering statistic, and visually highlights just how tiny the physical media slice has become on their official balance sheets. While 90% digital split makes it look like gamers are overwhelmingly choosing digital over physical by personal preference alone, market forces and availability play a far larger and bigger role in driving the statistic than pure consumer choice. So let's think about the most recent moves in game releases from the Japanese company. I'm not going to even go into that. But I guess what they're saying is maybe it's not all because it's that. It's just because that's just how I don't know. I don't really understand what this this is trying to prove a point on. But they're talking about like microtransactions, digital subscriptions, stuff like that. I don't know. I've been buying my games digitally for a while now, so I can account to being part of that 90%. Maybe it is just them selling 90% digital copies and not as much physical. Maybe we should take it as that. Because this article, I just read through this article a little bit. I sped read it, and it doesn't say anything really knowledgeable. This was from, I think, Windows. What was it from? Windows Central? Sorry. This was from MSN.com. So I don't know. Maybe we should discredit that story because it sounds more like more people are buying it digitally anyways. Because a lot of these games besides PlayStation, there was a physical copy, I think, of Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth for Xbox, I would think. Right? Let's see here. 7 Rebirth Xbox physical. Let's see here. Oh, no, there is no physical edition of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for Xbox Series X and S. Only digital. So maybe it was only for PlayStation that there was a physical edition of. Okay. Because it says only digital. Yeah, the only option is PS5 exclusive Twin Pack, which combines Final Fantasy VII Remake, Integrate, and Rebirth across 3 discs. There you go. There's your answer. So only Sony had that. So yes, I can understand why there are more digital copies sold than physical on that. Okay. And then the final gaming news stories here, which apparently people are Valve is expanding SteamOS support to more handhelds, and some people are excited about it, but apparently it is Valve hasn't still added full support for third-party handhelds. The update notes point to improved support for like the MSI Claw handhelds, along with initial gamepad support for the Claw 8EX AI Plus, that Neo Pocket S2, and the Conquer Fit support. Did they didn't talk about anything. I'm not looking for. Maybe it's already supported fully. I was gonna say, what about the ROG Ally? Or are they just not caring about that because that's more of a. We know that's probably works with that. Probably, I would guess. You would think it would for the ROG Ally, because I'm seeing a lot of pictures. Oh no, that's not a ROG Ally. It looks like a ROG Ally. It's just. I'm just looking. No ROG Ally. Not that I care. Anyways, yeah, there's still people still want a Steam machine, but nobody's going to be buying a Steam machine anytime soon because the price. And a lot of people in these polls I'm looking at here, and this is from IGN and their polls, that most of them want a lower price on these Steam machines, which will never happen because it's Valve and they're just going to sell it at cost. And people like me, I was kind of interested in it, but then I'm like, well, it's lower powered. My stuff is a lot more powerful. I like the little box look to it, but I got a little box PC and I probably wouldn't have played it anyways. And I'm glad it was super expensive, so I didn't have to buy it. If it was like $500, sure. Probably I would have maybe got a Steam machine, but because it's over 1,000, I'm like, nah. And then there's a lot of people. There's like 27% of people say they weren't interested in the first place. So you gotta see what the numbers are. And I, like I said, I'm looking at the polls of people, of the regular consumer people, I would think, that are doing these. And like I said, I'm a Windows-based gamer. I've been playing games on my Asus ROG Ally, the original, and this Xbox ROG Ally Extreme, and I've been having nothing but fun. And I'm looking in the comments section here, and a lot of people are like, yeah, I thought people wanted to upgrade. I wanted to upgrade to Steam Deck, but now people are saying I'm eyeing the ROG Xbox Ally X and stuff right now, that everybody wants everybody's been talking about. Everybody's been talking about the Xbox ROG Ally X right here. I'm looking at a whole bunch of people just talking about the Xbox ROG Ally X, and still people are enjoying their Z1 Extreme ROG Ally. Yes, that was a great device too. And people are talking about, like I said, this current Xbox ROG Ally X is amazing. It's expensive just like everything else, but it's amazing, and it plays games very well. Windows. Everybody's like, I'll just keep Windows on my Xbox ROG Ally Extreme. And I'm, like I said, I'm reading on IGN here, which is mostly, you get a lot more Steam people saying, hey, Steam machine's the thing. But if they're even talking about how they're more into this Xbox ROG Ally X stuff, that just says something there. That just says, yeah, okay. You get these people out there, like I said, some of these, I'm not going to mention their names, but some of these people that keep touting, saying Linux is going to be the wave of the future still, that they only want to play games on Steam OS, and that they think that, hey, if we can get these games like Marathon on Steam OS, it's going to be the best thing ever. And they're always hating on Windows and stuff, and they're thinking it's all garbage and it slows things down. I'm like, I don't have no problems like these people have with their computer systems. I don't know. Maybe I'm just one of those lucky ones. Like I said, my machine, my main gaming streaming machine here, even though it's got a Windows Patch Tuesday update coming up now, so I know I'm going to lose my microphone tomorrow when I do my stream. So I'll have to make sure my microphone's working tomorrow with OBS. But anyways, besides that, my computer's been running rock solid since I built it 6+ years ago. I think it's 7 now. And I have Windows 11 on it. I stream. I'm recording. I'm playing games on it, on top of it. I don't see the slowdown. I don't get that shit like people get. And it's my system isn't the latest, greatest like a lot of these people. And, you know, Windows still hasn't been bad to me. So I think people got to just chill out about it because they don't know what they're getting themselves into. Not that I'm saying Linux is bad in any way, shape, or form. You can go to Linux all you want. I think it's a great system. Like I said, Linux is the base operating system for Android and iOS and everything else, a lot of things out there, because it's thin, small, and you can do a lot with it compared to Windows, which is a more beefier, heavier thing that has to work with a lot of shit. And they do a lot of shit behind the scenes to, you know, because they do a lot of professional stuff, and a lot of professional apps need what Windows has in the libraries. And, you know, that's where games started with. So it's just, unless if more people get on Linux, more of the mainstream get on Linux, I don't think that they're going to get that much. Sure, some games will go to Linux, more games will get to Linux support, but mainly Windows will stay the mainstream gaming system and operating system for centuries to come, unless if something dramatically changes. And I don't think it's going to be because of Valve making SteamOS the mainstream thing. Because people like Microsoft and Sony and people will be dominant in that market. I don't know. It's good to have another thing that works on stuff, but all in all, I don't think it's going to excel that what certain people keep thinking it's going to do. And they can keep praising it. They can keep stroking SteamOS and thinking that it's going to be something, but I'm a Windows baby. I love Windows. I'm sorry. If you can't handle Windows, I don't know what to say. And these are coming from people that have been in the industry for a long time. And some of these people are like, I don't understand Windows. I don't know how to do this and that. I'm like, you've been working with Windows for how long now? I grew up with Windows too, since 3.1 era. You got to figure it out. I think people, like I said, if people are having trouble playing games or doing anything on Windows, I think you got to just learn. People got to learn how to do stuff. That's the world. That's what I always say to take out on my podcast. People got to learn. Let's learn. And besides that, folks, I'm going to get out of here. I think it's time to end this podcast now. And, let's see here. Hold on one second before I end it. Okay, I had to finish up one more thing before I ended this podcast. So sorry about that. But you didn't notice a thing because it's the magic of editing on the fly. Anyways, like I said, I'm going to end this podcast. That was the end of the news that I had for the gaming section. That was my last thoughts to tell you guys. You know, like I said, I don't hate Linux. I just don't think it's going to change anything for gaming. And as a gamer, you know, like I said, I used to be just all console and stuff, but PC's been just really good for me. And the power you can get out of it and what you can do. I don't think, even though Linux is going to get, even if they get like NVIDIA on board eventually, I still don't think it's going to do anything. It's not going to change anything, but I don't know. You got these naysayers that keep thinking it will, but I don't think so. I don't think it's going to ever happen. Not like what people think it's going to happen. I think they should just learn and accept. Learn and accept. You know, comply. I don't know. I'm happy with my Windows-based devices. I'm happy with my Xbox ROG X. I think it plays most of my games, my PC games, quite well. Quite well. Anyways, like I said, we're going to end the show now. It's a nice, big, long podcast. And surprised I got this much podcasting for something I don't have nothing to talk about. Even when I have nothing to talk about, I got a lot to talk about. A lot of rambling. Like I said, this week, like I said, today's the podcast. I maybe will have a Let's Play this Wednesday. I don't know. I'm recording this ahead of time, so I don't know, but you'll find out. And of course, Friday will be, of course, another 8 p.m. Eastern time live stream of probably some more Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, unless the audio goes away, which so far it hasn't. I'll find out this Friday, tomorrow, when I do my stream. So you guys will find out next week. Like I said, you can get my schedule on my website at OldFreakyGamer.com. Just click on schedule and it'll show you what I'm planning on doing. But I think if I do a Let's Play of something, I think it will be that reincarnation game. I want to try to play that, see what that does. Otherwise, I don't know. I got a game that I picked that I will be probably trying to start playing someday or so to be my next game through game. I'm very interested in this game. It's not probably going to be the best game, but it's a game that I picked as my next game, and I'm like, okay, maybe this will be my next game. We'll see. I could get a few episodes out of it, but yeah. So everybody, this is Mr. Mike signing out saying, I hope you have a great week getting into the week. I'm hopefully going to have a great weekend going in the weekend and upcoming in the near future. I don't know yet. I might, I don't know. Don't quote me on this, but I might not have a podcast in the upcoming near future at the end of the month sometime, because I got something going on one day in the weekend, and I don't know if I'll be able to do it on the Thursday. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, but I'm going to be doing some stuff and going to be having a little bit less time, and you know, we'll see. We'll see what I might be just talking a lot of nonsense, but anyways, thank you for joining me, folks. Like I said, you can get this podcast on all major podcast apps. You could go to OldFreakyGamer.com, subscribe to my YouTube channel and YouTube at OldFreakyGamer-2023, or just go to YouTube and type in Old Freaky Gamer. Subscribe, tell your friends, family, people about me. Watch the videos that I do. It's all free. No ads on my side or on my part. And I hope you enjoy. So everybody, until next time, I am Mr. Mike signing out saying game on, game hard, world conquest. I am pushing this gaming button, and the show is now game over. Peace.
Skies in neon nights, controllers lit like fireflies. Old freaky gamer in the zone, level up the unknown. Gamez Talk Newz, it's all a thrill, conquering worlds with skill on skill. Game on, game hard, streaming stars, we're never far. Game on, game hard, in this conquest, we're avatars. The mic calls the plays, gaming chair, endless days. Podcast echoes through the streams, living out our pixel dreams. Hit that button, go live, go live. In this realm where games survive. GamezAttack with a rebel spark. We're lighting up the digital dark. Game on, game hard, streaming stars, we're never
Game over.